So, unless you've been living in a cave for the last couple of days, or your power went out, or you've been camping or traveling and you haven't heard the news, yet another mass murder occurred earlier this week, this one in South Carolina. And sure enough, as it turns out, as always seems to be the case with these types of crazy, out-of-control, spontaneous killings, there's a connection to a mental health pharmaceutical. Apparently, the shooter has a history of using a drug called Suboxone, which, like many, if not all, psych meds, can cause violent outbursts and aggressive behaviors. The drug Suboxone works, at least partially, with a chemical in the brain called serotonin, which most people have heard of as a happy hormone. In a 2008 article that was published in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine, researchers found that even a single dose of Suboxone could cause violence, aggression, homicide, suicide, and other mental and emotional symptoms, which medical professionals collectively refer to as serotonin syndrome. If you watch the cartoonish commercials on TV about antidepressants, you would think that the stuff called serotonin is a chemical that makes you happy if you're depressed. And if you're depressed, all you do is take a medicine that makes your serotonin go up, and then you're happy again. On the other hand, if you go to websites like ssristories.com, which is filled with horror stories about violent behavior and suicides and suicidal thoughts and school shootings and murders, all associated with these SSRI-type drugs, even if you just read the papers and listen to conspiracy theorists, it's almost impossible not to notice a link between all of this unpleasantness and violent behavior and suicides and drugs that affect serotonin levels. Now, to be fair, Suboxone is not strictly a serotonin drug, but it can affect serotonin syndrome, as we find out, or affect serotonin and cause serotonin syndrome, as we find out in this article in the American Journal of Emergency Medicine, dated September 2008. Emergency physicians, quote from the article, emergency physicians should be aware of the potential of Suboxone to trigger serotonin syndrome. So serotonin is this happy hormone that you hear about on commercials and on mainstream websites and through mainstream media. If it's all glee-inducing, depression-fighting, happiness-inducing medication, why is it that Lilly and Pfizer and all the other manufacturers of these kinds of drugs are warning patients about side effects like suicide and violent behavior? Well, as it turns out, serotonin, despite what you may have heard, is far from a happiness and joy brain chemical. In fact, although serotonin is a neurotransmitter, a nerve chemical, it's really involved in a lot more than just brain chemistry. Serotonin is, at the end of the day, a hormone of vigilance and awareness and alertness. It's a hormone of daytime, as opposed to its cousin or colleague, melatonin. There's a very interesting relationship between melatonin and serotonin. Serotonin gets converted into melatonin, melatonin into serotonin, depending on the time of day. Daytime, serotonin levels go up. Melatonin levels, on the other hand, are involved in helping us fall asleep. Melatonin relaxes us, melatonin helps us fall asleep, and serotonin wakes us up. And it's a vigilance hormone, and this is the problem with these drugs that artificially manipulate the levels of serotonin in the brain. Yes, serotonin is involved in alertness. Serotonin is involved in vigilance. Serotonin is involved in keeping us awake and alert in the day, during the daytime, but it's also an emergency hormone. It's a stress hormone. Its main role is to prepare the body for emergencies, an emergency response. Whether that emergency response is nausea or vomiting or diarrhea, these are all regulated by serotonin, or blood clotting. That's regulated by serotonin as well. Hypertension also. So not only does serotonin not signal just joy and happiness and bliss, it actually sends a complete opposite signal. It prepares us for doom. It prepares us for a lion about to pounce on us. This is the reason why people who are already leaning towards paranoia have such a problem with serotonin. It's a hormone of vigilance. It's a hormone of alertness, and this is what accounts for its link to suicides and violent behaviors, which are really manifestations of the vigilance response gone crazy. Basically, serotonin tells the body that it's under threat. At least elevated serotonin tells the body that it's under threat. This is so important. If you got a paranoid personality, and now you take a serotonin drug that affects serotonin, now you're going to be hypervigilant or hyperparanoid. And this is what accounts for these mass murders and mass shootings and violent outbursts and aggressive behavior that are associated with taking these drugs that artificially, pharmaceutically poison the serotonin system in the brain to create high levels of serotonin. This is why rage and aggressive behaviors can be associated with these SSRI-type drugs. This is why suicidal thoughts and behavior can be caused by drugs that increase the level of this really what really is a stress management and an emergency hormone. If you really want to improve mental and emotional health, folks, the first thing to think about is your nutrition and your diet, not prescription drugs. This idea that we just turn to prescription drugs for no matter what ails us, it's not for us. This idea, this meme, this belief system that's in the culture that says, oh, you're sick, you go take a prescription drug. Do you think that's there for people, for patients? No. It's there for pharmaceutical companies and the medical model that profits and predates on it. It's a predator model that rips us off at every turn. And it doesn't just rip us off in terms of our dollars and our money and our hard-earned lucre. It rips us off in terms of our good health, psychological as well as physical. All right, if you got questions about health, nutrition, or prescription drugs, we welcome your phone calls on the bright side. If you're on an SSRI or know somebody on one of these types of drugs and you want to wean yourself off, let us give you some ideas. Our number today is 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552. Got lines open for you. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Dr. Wallach today. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network.
In recent years, several studies have discovered the healthy benefits of drinking coffee. Longevity has now taken it a step further with an entire product line of healthy coffees from Longevity's JavaFit line of top-shelf gourmet coffees. All JavaFit coffees are made from 100% hand-selected Arabica coffee beans grown in the finest regions of Latin America, all carefully roasted, creating a delicious, rich, full-bodied flavor. Try JavaFit Focus Plus multivitamins, a fantastically delicious, full-bodied gourmet coffee that is fortified with vitamins and minerals designed to get your day started with a solid nutritional foundation. Traditional as well as organic and fair trade options also available in 30-count single cup or 24-count single pot packs. Contact your local FDI Longevity distributor to get Javalution coffees. And don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
I'll be sitting in for the next 45 minutes or so with my good friend and colleague Doug Winfrey. Greetings, Doug.
Great to have you back on the show as always.
Yes.
I wanted to continue talking about these, serotonin drugs and all. Is that I've got a story here that I got from Newsmax that quotes several news sources. Washington Post is one, Newsweek another. And Newsweek is actually reporting that this Dylan Roof kid had been taking a psychoactive drug that had been linked to outbursts of violence. They say, in addition, similar tragedies over the past decade have been linked to mass shootings and mental illness. And they're talking about, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold, the Columbine killers. Then there was the guy at Virginia University, Sung Hu Chu. And then Jiverly Wong was a guy that killed a bunch of people at the American Civic Association Immigration Center. And he had called TV stations and all saying that there was police officers that were undercover that were changing his channels on his TV. And, then there's, of course, Major Nadal Harris, the guy that at Fort Hood, and he had a history of bizarre and paranoid behavior. And
he was on an SSRI, too.
Yes, he was. And Jared Loeffner killed 6 and injured 13 in a Tucson shopping center. And he had a psychologist had reviewed his journals months before the incident and showed symptoms of schizophrenia. James Holmes, the Colorado movie theater shooter, he had also been described by a psychiatrist who treated him months before the shooting of shifting into insidious into a frank psychotic disorder such as schizophrenia. Aaron Alexis killed 12 people in the Washington Navy Yard, also had a history of mental illness and was on these drugs. And along with Adam Lanza, the Newtown, Connecticut shooter, diagnosed as a child with sensory perception disorder, a condition made of bright lights and loud sounds. Certain textures made it unbearable for him. He'd also been ruled by a psychiatrist as having a displayed profound autism spectrum disorder. And what I find interesting about all of this is that there's a link between all of these mass killings, and the link is these drugs. And every time one of these things happens, as this past incident, the first thing the government and the administration does is starts talking about gun control. And the crazy thing is, I was told earlier today that in the UK they have 3 times as amount of murders in that country as we do. And guess what? Since they have really tight and strict gun control laws in that country, I don't even think the police are allowed to carry guns. Their weapon of choice is a hammer. So I mean, if you have suicidal and homicidal thoughts,
right, you're going to use whichever you have. You're going to
use what you can get your hands on, a car or a firebomb or whatever, a machete, an axe.
Right.
So I mean, this whole talk of taking guns away because of these, and I fault the psychiatric community, because in each one of these cases, these people had been deemed to have problems and nothing was done. They were still left to walk the streets with the rest of us sane people. And I think it's their fault for not being more proactive and something not being done to get these people the help they need, and if need be, get them hospitalized for the rest of their lives if necessary.
Do you know that there's definitive proof that these SSRI drugs and psych drugs and antidepressant drugs don't work any better than placebo?
I had read that, yeah.
Yeah, there was a guy named, there's a book called The Emperor's New Drugs. The Emperor's New Drug, I believe it's called, by a guy named Erwin Kirsch, who's a medical doctor, and he did a bunch of studies, actually did a meta-study on the studies, and he found that they're no better than placebo, these mental health drugs. But they're no different than placebo in terms of their effects on mental health, perhaps, but they're way different than placebo in terms of side effects, in terms of toxicity. This is the whole point, Doug, and I'm telling you this as a pharmacist, as somebody who's studied medicine for now 30 years, hardcore for 30 plus years. I'm telling you, the logic is flawed. The idea that you can use a prescription drug to get healthy just doesn't make sense. Not only that, the idea that you can use a prescription drug and not have side effects and not have toxicity, it doesn't make any sense. On the other hand, the human body is a healing and regenerating system. No matter what your health challenge is, folks, if it's in the realm of a degenerative crisis, you can use nutrition, you can use dietary strategies, you can use mental and emotional strategies as well. You can use non-toxic strategies from the comfort of your own living room. Let us show you how. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number, 888-379-2552, toll free. If you're dealing with a health challenge, let us help you get off your medication and get on a good nutritional supplement program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today with Doug Winfrey. We'll take a break and come back right after this. Don't go away.
If you've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, pre-diabetes, or the metabolic syndrome, and you're tired of seeing your blood glucose levels rise and fall like a ship on the ocean, but you don't want to take those drugs the rest of your life, Youngevity has an alternative. A product called Sweeties has been developed just for you. Used as part of your regular diet, Sweeties helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels, a formulation specially designed to nutritionally assist your body with the regulation of your blood sugar level. Sweeties supports healthy glucose metabolism because it's fortified with aspartic acid, chromium, and vanadium, all to help you promote healthy blood sugar levels. If you want to get off those drugs and control your blood sugar metabolism naturally, try Youngevity's Sweeties product. If you'd like to learn more about nutritional supplementation, call your local Youngevity associate, and don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
You've listened to physician and veterinarian Dr. Joel Wallach help many people on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk radio program. You've also heard hundreds of people tell how Dr. Wallach and Youngevity products have changed their lives. If you're now convinced that Dr. Wallach is onto something and you want to try Youngevity's premium quality products for yourself, we can connect you with a distributor that serves your local area. Simply call our special helpline voicemail at 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call right now and leave your name, telephone number, or email address, and we'll see to it that the right person contacts you shortly. Remember, the phone number, 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call now to change your life. That's 313-444-3463.
We're talking brain health, mental health, psychiatric health, and the serotonin reuptake inhibitors and antipsychotic and antidepressant and anti-anxiety medications. If you're interested in learning more about all this stuff, get a book called The Emperor's New Drugs by a guy named Irving Kirsch. Irving Kirsch, I believe, is a medical doctor. He did a bunch of studies on all the, he did a meta-study, which is a study about studies on all the various on all the studies that have been done on antidepressant and serotonin reuptake inhibitors. The subtitle of the book is Exploding the Antidepressant Myth, and it's all about how the placebo effect is equivalent to the effect that you get from these kinds of drugs. Basically, they're placebos. They're no better than placebos, except for, of course, you have to deal with side effects and you have to deal with toxicity. Listen, if you're on a prescription drug for brain health issues, mental health issues, emotional health issues, much like if you're on a prescription drug for physical issues, you got to understand this. There's a lot better ways to deal with your health challenge. Not only that, but there isn't a single drug on planet Earth that can reverse a degenerative disease. That's not their purpose. That's not what they do. What they do is they reverse numbers, they reverse metrics, and who do you think makes the numbers up? The people selling the darn drugs. Doug, can you think of a better scam? It's the biggest one ever and one of the best.
Oh yeah, I've been saying that to people for years, ever since I got involved with Dr. Wallach and doing this show and started doing research on the medical industry. And it is. I mean, I've worked on shows where we talked about Bigfoot and UFOs and the Kennedy assassination, all these conspiracy theories. And the biggest conspiracy that is currently being imposed upon the American people and has been for the last 100 years is the pharmaceutical industry and the medical model, because it is all wrong and it's all about money. It has nothing to do with getting people well or keeping people well.
It's so true. And not only is it about money, Doug, it's about big, ridiculous big money.
Yeah, huge money.
Yeah, the newest drugs, these biologics, you could pay $1,000 a pill, Doug.
Oh, yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, not the biologics, the hepatitis C, the hep virus pill. What's it called? Harvoni. Can you imagine $1,000 a pill? What do you think it costs to make a pill like that, including the ingredients?
10 cents.
10 cents? Not even a penny. Less than a penny. In order to get to a penny, you got to go to 10 or 20 or 100 pills. And you're selling them for $1,000? I can't even. The margin on that doesn't even fit on your calculator.
They got to pay for all that R&D.
No, it doesn't work that way. They got to pay for the direct.
That's what they say.
Yeah, right. They got to pay for the direct to consumer advertising. They didn't. You know how you see commercials for drugs all the time now, where they brand the prescription drugs like they're branding a hamburger. Like a prescription drug has become like a Happy Meal. It gets branded and then uses the same marketing strategies, the same advertising strategies, the same persuasion techniques that they do when they sell you a Snickers bar, when they sell you a hamburger. But except for the problem is, this stuff is going to kill you.
Yeah, what I like to tell people to do is when you see these ads for these drugs come on, get yourself a stopwatch or just watch your own watch or a clock that has a sweep hand,
right,
and see how long the commercial is total, and then how long by comparison of when they tell you all the good aspects of the drug compared to, the side effects. The side effects portion is always about twice as long. Here's
the thing, though, Doug. With dietary strategies, changing the foods we eat, stabilizing the blood sugar, making sure we're on a good probiotic supplement like the Biolumin Nightly Essence, eating fermented foods, deep breathing, taking hot baths and hot showers, and getting massages, and getting on a good nutritional supplement program like the Healthy Start Pack and the Mighty 90, you're not going to need the prescription drugs. The human body is designed to heal. You guys, if you're dealing with a chronic degenerative health crisis, I don't care what it is. If it's got an itis at the end of the name, if it's a syndrome of some kind, whatever it is, please understand. The human body, through the divine force, is designed to regenerate itself. Let us help you. Let us show you how you can do it yourself. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552, toll free. I'm Pharmacist Ben, along with Doug Winfrey, sitting in for Doc today. We're coming back with your phone calls right after this on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program on the ZBS Radio Network.
You've listened to physician and veterinarian Dr. Joel Wallach help many people on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk radio program. You've also heard hundreds of people tell how Dr. Wallach and Youngevity products have changed their lives. If you're now convinced that Dr. Wallach is onto something and you want to try Youngevity's premium quality products for yourself, we can connect you with a distributor that serves your local area. Simply call our special helpline voicemail at 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call right now and leave your name, telephone number, or email address, and we'll see to it that the right person contacts you shortly. Remember, the phone number, 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call now to change your life. That's 313-444-3463. 3463.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, your host of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. If you're interested in a colon cleanse, blood cleanse, liver cleanse, in the classical herbal way, you want to ask your Longevity associate for Herbal Rainforest. Herbal Rainforest has 16 herbs, 16 cleansing herbs, classic cleansing herbs, and 77 plant minerals. That's right, and these are all organic. It doesn't get any better than that. In your busy day, and you're around all these toxins out there in your workplace, on the way home, going to work, in your food, in the air, in the water, you need Herbal Rainforest. I guarantee you, it will give you a cleanse. You can control the dose. It's a liquid. It tastes good. It doesn't get any better than this. A colon that's happy makes you happy. Nothing better than a happy colon. Herbal Rainforest. Clean it out.
For more information on this product or others you've heard about on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program, call your local Longevity associate today. And don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
Who's first on the line, Douglas?
All right, let's head to Tampa, Florida. And Frank, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Yo, Frank, what's going on? I'm having a hard time
going
hearing
once,
Frank.
going twice. Frank, you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, Frank, you're on.
I can barely hear him, Doug.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, speak up, Frank, and they got a bunch of noise. Are you outside? Are you at the beach?
No, I would.
We're going to have to move on. We just
We're
can't
going to have
hear
to
what
move on.
Frank's
Frank,
doing.
call back and get us a good connection. Love to talk to you.
Okay, let's head on to California. And Keisha, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Keisha?
Hi.
Hey.
Hello. I'm glad to talk to you.
I'm glad to talk to you.
Issues. Thank you. I have issues. My first one is my glaucoma.
Okay.
My second one is my multiple sclerosis, which I've been battling with for a while.
Okay.
And I also have leaky gut.
Okay, they're all the same thing. Actually, they're all the leaky gut. The leaky gut works downwards, works downstream. Once you have a leaky gut, that's when the problems begin. I think we talked about this a couple of days ago. Everything's about the blood, Keisha. You ever hear the saying, the blood is the life? You ever hear that saying? That's from the Bible. The blood is the life. And what does that mean? It means that the blood contacts every single one of the cells of the body with food, that is nutrients, the mighty 90 essential nutrients, with oxygen, and then the blood drains away the toxins, the circulatory system. Once the blood starts to get polluted, all diseases arise, especially and including autoimmune diseases like multiple sclerosis. By the way, glaucoma is a sign, it's basically the same thing. It's not an immune condition, it's an inflammatory condition. It means the cells of the eye, there's a valve in the eye that drains out fluid, and the cells of that valve become inflamed. If you have glaucoma, you got other things too. You got all kinds of stuff going on, Keisha. How old are you?
I'm 41.
Oh, you're a young girl. You're a young lady. You're a young woman. You got lots of living to do, and we're going to turn this thing around. If you like, we can turn it around right now. First of all, there's a very important and beneficial relationship between fasting and multiple sclerosis. Did anybody ever tell you that? That when you fast, multiple sclerosis symptoms become reduced? This is not just me talking, and this is not just nutritionists and dietitians or nutritionists and alternative practitioners talking. This is on WebMD's website. WebMD, certainly no fan of alternative medicine, but if you go on WebMD's website, Keisha, WebMD, just the way it sounds, and look up fasting and multiple sclerosis, you'll get a great article, a classic article, really, on a new study that shows the multiple sclerosis and fasting become reduced. Okay, so what's the issue here? Why would fasting help an inflammatory disease? Well, clearly food is involved. Obviously, if you understand how the body works, and it's not complicated. You get holes that develop in the intestine. The toxins from the food or the allergens from the food enter into the blood. So the first thing you got to do is patch up the gut. Okay, just like think of just putting a patch on an old pair of jeans that you love. You're going to put a patch on the gut. Does that make sense so far?
It does.
Keisha, once you do this, everything else will resolve. Now, you're going to have to do some other stuff. Certainly, you want to be on the mighty 90 essential nutrients. You got to watch out for your sugars and your gluten, etc. But the first thing you want to do is fast for a couple of days. Get yourself on a Swear V fast. And we haven't talked about this Swear V cleanse, but it's absolutely magnificent. Swear V is made with potassium and sodium. It gives you energy even while you're going through your fast. Plus, it's got probiotics that will help strengthen the digestive tract. So get on a Swear V cleanse. It'll take you 3 days to do it. You do half a bottle every hour. At the end of that Swear V cleanse, you're going to feel great. All right? You're going to feel better than you felt in years, Keisha. I guarantee it. Then you're going to have to start doing some strategies to eliminate foods and then literally patch up the gut. Hang tight. We'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Dr. Wallach. We're going to take a break and come back with more good health information and more of your phone calls at 831-685-1080 or 888-379-2552 toll free.
You've listened to physician and veterinarian Dr. Joel Wallach help many people on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk radio program. You've also heard hundreds of people tell how Dr. Wallach and Youngevity products have changed their lives. If you're now convinced that Dr. Wallach is onto something and you want to try Youngevity's premium quality products for yourself, we can connect you with a distributor that serves your local area. Simply call our special helpline voicemail at 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call right now and leave your name, telephone number, or email address, and we'll see to it that the right person contacts you shortly. Remember, the phone number, 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call now to change your life. That's 313-444-3463. 3463.
I am Judy DeVilbus. Here I am speaking to you again. I just wanted to tell you that recently I started drinking the Whey Shakes again, the chocolate Whey Shake. And you need to remember, the Whey Shake isn't just for losing weight. It's a fantastic place to get your great protein. And if you're trying to gain weight, you can take it along with your meals. And the best part is, if you want to just have a great protein shake, do like I do. Put it over ice, stir it up, and you can sip on it for 20 minutes to an hour. I do it every single day. I absolutely love it. You need to get back to it too. It's really good for you. And it makes not fat, but it makes muscle after you work out. And you can also mix it up in a blender with an egg, and you have the most incredible health protein shake. Or mix it with a little water, stir it up, and you have a little pudding. And who doesn't like pudding?
For more information or to order, call your Youngevity distributor today. And don't forget to ask about Youngevity home-based business opportunities.
We're talking to Keisha about multiple sclerosis. Keisha, you there?
Yes, I am.
All right. So your your digestive problems start first. Then it goes into an immune system problem, and then it goes into general breakdown, and glaucoma is the manifestation of that generic type of breakdown. So here's the thing. Once you patch up the gut, you stop the leakage of stuff that's getting into the blood. The immune system quiets down, and it can occur as quickly as a day or two if you do a fast. Now, clearly you can't fast the rest of your life, but you can notice some quick relief with something as simple as a 2 or 3 day Swear V cleanse or fast. So 2 or 3 days, you do the Swear V cleanse. Get yourself on the Biolumin Nightly Essence immediately thereafter. You want to do 2 capsules in the morning and 2 capsules at night. And then it'd be probably a good idea for you to do a food diary where you write down all your foods and how you feel from a digestive system perspective after you eat those foods. I guarantee you're going to notice there's foods that you've been eating for 40 years sometime, probably, if you're 41 years old. There's foods that you're eating, that you're enjoying, that you're loving, and probably eating a lot that are causing some problems. And you may not even notice it, and when you do a fast, you'll hit the reset button, clear the decks, and become resensitized. You'll notice your digestive symptomology again. Of course, those are foods you're going to need to eliminate. Get on the Healthy Start Pack. That's a must-have. And then a couple interesting, or 3 interesting supplements that will help you with multiple sclerosis. Number 1, the Ultimate Enzymes, taken with all your meals as well as on an empty stomach. They've got great anti-inflammatory effects. The Fucoid Z, which is wonderful for the circulatory system as well as for the immune system. And then the Ultimate Selenium, which is a key component of the body's most important detoxifying substance, something called glutathione. The Ultimate Selenium's got tremendous antiviral properties. It also has anti-inflammatory properties. It supports the immune system and supports detoxification. Long story short, my dear, you can be symptom-free in short order, but you got to do some things and maybe even change your life a little bit. Get on a nutritional supplement program, focus on the digestive system, and do a Swear V cleanse. And within a couple of days, you should be noticing some significant results. Thanks for your call, Keisha. Appreciate it. Who's next on the line? Doug?
Let's head to Long Beach, California. And Emily, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
Hey, Emily.
Hi, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. What's up?
Good. I'm calling because my mom was recently diagnosed with an issue dealing with a high-infield hernia. Now, she's a diabetic. She has this high-infield hernia, which has opened up in her abdomen and allowed her stomach to move up into her chest cavity. So,
Okay. Do you know what a hiatal hernia is?
Well, I'm thinking it's a hole in your abdomen. Hello?
Yeah.
I can barely hear you, but go ahead.
How's that? Am I getting better?
Better.
All right. I don't know what happened to my volume there. A couple of things here. A hiatal hernia is a sign that the body's breaking down. It's as simple as that. The 30-40% or so of the body is made up of something called connective tissue. And I like to think of connective tissue like a Jell-O mold. You ever make a Jell-O mold with fruit and you put the fruit in the Jell-O? Have you ever done that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the body is much the same way. All the components are held in like fruit is held in Jell-O. Jell-O represents connective tissue. It connects all the parts, all the pieces together so the body is a uniform whole. Hiatal hernia, and all hernias really, are the manifestation of a breakdown in the Jell-O. You follow me?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
The Jell-O is breaking down. The connective tissue is breaking down. It's dissolving. So what do you do? Well, first of all, you said she's a diabetic. That tells me that the chances are pretty good that she's got some long-term inflammation going on in her system. She's got to get the diabetes under control. There's no pill that you take to change a hernia, but what you do is you build the connective tissue. You basically become a bodybuilder. Number one, you got to stabilize the blood sugar. It's so important. Once the blood sugar gets whacked out, sugar is a mortal enemy to building. It's anti-building, and it's pro-destruction. Sugar is explosive stuff, and it will explode the various proteins in the body. It's just awful. And yes, we need a little bit, but a very little bit. Diabetes, the reason it's so dangerous is because blood sugar becomes out of control. The levels of sugar rise in the blood, and it causes explosions throughout the body, including the connective tissue. So keeping her sugar under control is very important. Something as simple as drinking more water can dilute the blood sugar. The second thing you want to do is get on the sweeties. That's chromium and vanadium, as well as the Healthy Start Pack. All of that will stabilize the blood sugar as well. And then make sure she's correcting any digestive health issues. She's going to need to build up the digestive tract, number one, and she's also going to have to eliminate or reduce the flow of toxicity into the blood, through, like we were talking with our last caller, through the digestive lining. A couple strategies for this. Number one, caloric restricting your calories, and intermittent fasting. That's a great strategy. Using the Jordan Rubin Beyond Organic products is also important. The Suero V, the probiotic enriched cheese, which is absolutely delicious, as well as the Amasai. In addition to the Healthy Start Pack, that always goes without saying, you're going to want to use the Biolumin Nightly Essence, as well as the Ultimate Enzymes after meals, and also the Fucoid Z. Now that I think about it, that can also be very important for building the digestive system. And here's a little tip that we don't talk about anywhere near enough. One of my all-time favorite longevity products is the glucogel caps, because they're so multifunctional. Everybody knows about the glucogel caps for joint health, for arthritis and such, but did you know that the glucogel caps can also be good for your digestive system? They can help build and strengthen the digestive tract lining the same way they help build and strengthen the joints. In my opinion, everybody who has leaky gut issues, and that's most of us, should be using the glucogel caps. Make sure you take your Beyond Tangy Tangerine with the glucogel caps. You want to do them together. That's because the vitamin C in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine activates the glucogel, the glucosamine specifically, and it also helps support collagen production, etc. So you got lots of strategies there for you. One last thing that you might want to consider for all hernias, not just a hiatal hernia, all hernias. A hiatal hernia is a specific type of hernia, but there's all kinds of hernias. Anytime you want to build connective tissue, which we all should be thinking about doing, think about bone soup. Get yourself a big old chicken, drop it in a pot, turn that chicken and fill it up with water, and turn that chicken and the water in the pot into delicious chicken soup, bone soup. You let it simmer for 12, 24 hours. You can throw in spices, throw in vegetables, and subsisting on that, especially if you have a digestive problem, can be one of the best all-time healthcare strategies you could ever use. And again, you could do it from the comfort of your own kitchen. No doctors required, no drugs required, no pharmacists required, no Obamacare required. And that's what we mean when we say good nutrition is good medicine. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Let's see if we can get one more, Doug, before our break.
All righty. Let's head to the Bronx, New York. And Monique, you're on with Pharmacist Ben Fuchs.
What's up, Monique? Monique, what's going on?
Hi. See, Monique?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, they talking to you.
I can't hear you, Monique. Speak up.
Going once, going twice.
Okay, no. Her son will be 3 years old next month, and he snores a lot.
Okay.
and
That's a sign of an
sometimes it seems
allergy,
like
ma'am. Did you say your son is
An
3 years old
allergy?
and he snores?
Yes.
That's a major sign of an allergy, not a minor sign. A food allergy. Does he have digestive problems too?
Not really.
What do you mean? What do you mean not really?
Well-
It's like saying, are you pregnant? Not really? You either have them or you don't. I'm teasing. I'm
no,
playing
he
with you.
doesn't have digestive problems.
Yeah? Are you positive?
I'm positive.
Okay, well, it's hard to, that can't really be because when you have sleep apnea, when a child has sleep apnea, he's got some kind of inflammation going on in that area, in the respiratory area. It usually means fluid leakage, and it usually means inflammation. And that tells me that there's something going on in the digestive system. It doesn't just happen. There's no magical way it happens. Something is getting into his body. And he's 3 years old, so really he's not going to be breathing too much other than regular air, and he's certainly not going to be an IV drug user. So the chances are pretty darn good he's got something percolating in his digestive system. Hang on, Monique. I want to ask you a couple more questions, so don't go away. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to the Dead Doctors Don't Lie radio program. 831-685-1080 is our priority line number. 888-379-2552. Toll free. We're coming back right after this. Don't go away.
If you're the type of person who likes to volunteer and help others, this should interest you. What better way to help people than to help them overcome their health challenges? Youngevity has been helping people overcome their health challenges for years. Our approach to health is drastically different than medical doctors who mostly only treat symptoms. As a veterinarian, Dr. Joel Wallach discovered that many common disease states are actually preventable and reversible. Our mission at Youngevity is to educate Americans about their own health. If you like helping people, join us in our fight to save America. While you're helping people prevent and overcome health challenges, you will also be able to build a lucrative home-based business. So what are you waiting for? Come join us and help save America. If you've decided to join us, call your local Youngevity associate to find out how you can arm yourself with the knowledge that's needed to save America.
Through his research as a veterinarian, Dr. Joel Wallach discovered that most health problems afflicting livestock can be prevented and even reversed. Many of these same health challenges also occur in humans. These too can be prevented and reversed. Doc's original formula, called the pig arthritis formula, alleviated all arthritis symptoms in animals. The same basic formula has been developed for humans, called the Pig Pack, which includes plant-derived minerals, a multiple vitamin complex, glucogel, and EFAs. Add to that Youngevity's OsteoFX Plus, a proprietary blend of liquid calcium, magnesium, and glucosamine. Now you have the Pig Pack Plus to make up the 90 essential nutrients Dr. Wallach has identified as necessary for sustained good health and longevity. If you'd like to learn more about nutritional supplementation, call your local Youngevity associate, and don't forget to ask about home-based business opportunities.
You've listened to physician and veterinarian Dr. Joel Wallach help many people on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie talk radio program. You've also heard hundreds of people tell how Dr. Wallach and Youngevity products have changed their lives. If you're now convinced that Dr. Wallach is onto something and you want to try Youngevity's premium quality products for yourself, we can connect you with a distributor that serves your local area. Simply call our special helpline voicemail at 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call right now and leave your name, telephone number, or email address, and we'll see to it that the right person contacts you shortly. Remember, the phone number, 313-444-3463. That's 313-444-3463. Call now to change your life. That's 313-444-3463.
Hi, we're back on the Dead Doctors Don't Lie program. I'm Pharmacist Ben, sitting in for Doc today, along with Doug Winfrey, and you and your phone calls. We're talking to Monique in New York. Are you in New York, Monique? Did we say that?
Yes, Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York. Well, good to talk to you. And as far as your 3-year-old goes, he's having problems breathing at night. Here's the deal. You never have just one symptom. So your job as his therapist, as his mom, and my job to help you, is to find multiple symptoms so we could form a picture of what's happening in the body. And the most likely symptom is going to be digestive. And you're saying absolutely 100% you know he doesn't have any bloating or any discomfort or any rubbing his belly or any kind. It's hard with a 3-year-old. No complaining at all, nothing like that?
Yeah, smooth movements.
No, not just the movements, ma'am. Not just the movements.
Yeah.
It's good that he has smooth movements, though. Just discomfort. Just discomfort. You don't know. You really want to look for that because those are major clues. Something is getting into his body. When you have an inflammatory response or an inflammatory symptom, which is what this is he making wheezing sounds, by the way? Or is it just musculature?
Yeah, the snoring. I mean, yeah, I recorded this sometimes, sounds like a teenage person snoring.
Yeah. This
Loud.
When you're breathing, when you're sleeping, or when you're regularly breathing, the air's supposed to go up in a nice, smooth way. There's not supposed to be anything blocking the air. When there's something blocking the air, that means there's inflammation. This is what snoring is about. It's an inflammatory response. Something is blocking the movement of air, and you're hearing the sound as that air goes through whatever's blocking it or passes around whatever's partially blocking it. It's only a partial block. The partial block is an inflammatory response. Inflammatory response means the body's defending itself. Now, it doesn't defend itself from little elves that shoot arrows at it. It defends itself from something that's getting inside the blood voluntarily. Breathing, injecting, or through a burn if it's going through the skin. Vaccines can do it. Or eating. The vast majority of the time with a 3-year-old kid, it's eating. Was he breastfed, by the way?
Yes.
Full term? The whole time?
Yes.
Are you
Yes.
You breastfed? I take it. Do you have any problems with your any digestive problems yourself?
No.
I'm not. Something's not adding up here, my dear. So here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to do some
My other
homework.
son, he doesn't have that problem, and he's a year old. So
He doesn't have that problem. No, that doesn't have anything to do with it, ma'am. Here's the deal, and we're going to move on now. You got to look at what's getting inside the kid. What is the problem? Something's missing in the kid. Something is getting in that shouldn't be getting in. So number one, you got to do the food diary thing and look for problem foods. That's where you work with things that are getting in that shouldn't be. Then you work with the things that aren't getting in that should. And the most important thing for a child is going to be essential fatty acids. That means the ultimate EFAs. If you can take pills, you want to do maybe two twice a day, like 4 pills a day. That would be a good place to be. If you can't take pills, put a little pin in there and squeeze it out and then put it into some yogurt or some food that he likes and that he can eat. Also have him start to sip on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. If you want to do one last thing, get him on the Biolumin Nightly Essence. All people need probiotic bacteria, including kids. You can open up the capsule and put it again on some food if he has a problem with the capsule. But you got to look for what's getting into the system. So nobody has a snoring problem, a sleep apnea problem, a breathing problem unless they have inflammation, and nobody has inflammation unless something is getting into the system. The beautiful thing about the human body is that it's perfect. And this is the mindset that we have to take, and this is the mindset that the medical model does not want us to take. The medical model wants us to think that the body's flawed, that it needs to be fixed, that it needs some kind of remedy, or that it needs some kind of medical intervention. It needs a device. It needs a drug. It needs a surgery. It needs something for a doctor to do. That's not the truth, however. The Lord did not make an imperfect body, and the body is not imperfect. It is perfect. So if you have sleep apnea, if you're snoring, if you have glaucoma, if you have multiple sclerosis, something is interfering. Something is getting in that shouldn't be. Something is not getting in that should. What does that mean? Well, number one, it means get on the Mighty 90. It means everybody needs to get on the Mighty 90, not just sick people. It means healthy people. It means people. It means human beings. If you're a human being, you need the Mighty 90 essential nutrients. That means the Healthy Start Pack. And then focus on what is getting into the body that shouldn't be. And that always means at least focusing on digestive health. Unless you're an IV drug user, or you have a severe burn, or you're working in some kind of toxic fumes of some kind, the chances are pretty darn good you got a digestive issue. That's why you want to always focus on the digestive system. Long story short is it's not drugs that we need or doctors. It's a good nutritional supplement program and good common sense health strategies. Thanks for listening, friends. For Doc and for Doug and for MZ and all the folks at the ZBS Radio Network, I'm Pharmacist Ben. Have an awesome, spectacular, beautiful day. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.
Hi everyone, Andy Anderson here. Are you using those handy little bottles of gel that zap germs, bacteria, and other nasties? In today's world, that's smart, especially with all the filthy doorknobs, shopping carts, and handrails we touch every day. Here's what you may not know. Once the alcohol evaporates, goodbye effectiveness. No more protection until you use it again. PureWorks to the rescue. Our FDA-compliant foam, lotion, soap, and spray do not rely on alcohol. Their killing power lasts up to 4 hours. PureWorks disinfecting spray is EPA certified to kill swine flu, bird flu, MRSA, HIV, hepatitis B and C, and a whole host of viruses and bacteria. Mold and fungus too. It's even safe around children and pets. You'll love the soft feel of PureWorks on your hand. It actually conditions and will not dry your skin. Here's a little peace of mind knowing your hands are still germ-free hours later. Get your hands on PureWorks and get PureWorks on your hands. Stand by. Pull out your paper and pencil for your local number to order PureWorks.